President seeks support from religious leaders for national reconciliation.
Will Mahinda Rajapaksa assume leadership of a new party?
Suspect underage driver in fatal Dematogoda accident and mother returned to remand custody.
Global oil prices slide following easing of Iran sanctions.
Hello, good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on MTV and Shakti TV, and for our viewers from across the globe on Newsfirst.lk. Good evening, Dasni.
Good evening, Naveem, and good evening to all our viewers. Let's start off with a look at tonight's top story.
President Maithripala Sirisena says that building peace and reconciliation among the people of the country cannot be done only through enacting laws.
The president made this statement while addressing an event held in Kaluthara today.
The Thai Pongal ceremony of the Payagala Hindu College in Kaluthara was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena this morning. Former President Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga also attended the event. The event was organized under the program to use religious and cultural activities as a tool to promote national peace and reconciliation among school children. I firmly believe that more than every constitution in the world and every other legal document, people can only be brought together through religious philosophy which comes from one's spirituality, heart and mind. On this auspicious day of Thai Pongal, as the chief public servant of the people of this country, I want to make a noble request from all religious leaders in the country. You have the power to do far more to society than what the politicians do. So I humbly request that every religious leader to come forward to work towards building national reconciliation, to bring all communities together while safeguarding one's culture and safeguarding their fundamental values in a manner which will not cause another war in the country.
We have a very successful program in place, but of course there are shortcomings. We have an effective program to create national unity. We also have an effective program coming into being to put a stop to thievery. We have done a fair amount of work against those who have committed wrong. At the very least, those who have done so at a very large scale. But these are things which cannot be talked about today and done tomorrow. There are various obstacles at hand. Nevertheless, things are getting done.
Well, rumours are abound that a new political party may be established under the leadership of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Several decisive steps have been taken on this matter at a meeting held in Variapola on Saturday.
The meeting was convened at the residence of UPFA Northwestern Provincial Councillor D.B. Herath and was supposed to be a meeting of ruling party councillors from the Northwestern Provincial Council. Incidentally, former Minister Basil Rajapaksa was also present at this meeting. Several members of the Mahasangha were also present to invoke blessings. While the meeting was closed to the media, the former president responded to questions posed by journalists as he was leaving the premises.
No, we are all from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. We convene people from the Mahajana Party and our provincial councillors. This is my electorate. You're asking an astounding question. This is my district.
Former Minister Basil Rajapaksa only left the premises after many of the participants, including Mahinda Rajapaksa, had departed. Today, Newsfirst uncovered the decisions that had been made at Saturday's meeting.
We discussed a program to rally the people to take the political program of the entire nation in a new direction at a meeting held at my residence in Variapola with the participation of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and former Economic Affairs Minister Basil Rajapaksa. Mahinda Rajapaksa and Basil Rajapaksa decided to extend their fullest support to this endeavour. I must specially mention that we decided to establish an office and move ahead with this program. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa had informed us that he wished to meet with the ruling party councillors of the Northwestern Provincial Council. As such, the ruling party councillors held a meeting at D.B. Herath's residence. I believe so. A group from the SLFP who are opposed to the national government are seated in the opposition. A group of about 40 MPs led by Mahinda Rajapaksa are seated in the opposition. A new political party comprising of those in the opposition will be established in the future. We will form an alliance with this party, and at the upcoming elections we will come forward as a broad force across the entire nation under the leadership of Mahinda Rajapaksa to defeat the program of this coalition government.
මුළු රට පුරාම අපි පුළුල් බලවේගයක් විදියට ඉදිරි මැතිවරණයේදී මුහුණ දෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමාගේ නායකත්වයෙන්. තාම මම හිතන්නේ
I do not think this is the right time to unveil it.
එළියට දාන්න.
Convening a media briefing today, General Secretary of the JVP Tilvin Silva heavily criticized the government.
The main slogans employed during the previous presidential runoff were democracy and good governance. But what do we see now? Since being appointed to power, they have forgotten all of that and are now going ahead with their own business as usual. The reason for this is because they mix up politics when taking a decision to arrest someone they have carried out investigations on. They first had the budget and now they have brought in the constitution. So until this is passed, all the other investigations have been set aside. Next is the election, where they will fail to arrest them even after the election. So they will never arrest the culprits. It is wrong to mix all of this with politics. Now both the rogues and the ones who were sent to catch these rogues are governing together. The deal is not only among those within the government. The deal is also among some in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party who are outside the government. Any one of you are aware that when the budget was presented, even though he heavily criticized it, Mahinda Rajapaksa was not even in the chambers for the voting. More so, Vimal Weerawansa of the joint opposition, who also screams about things more often than not, was not even in the country for the third reading of the budget. The Prime Minister had facilitated the renewing of his passport and he went overseas. They are the ones who have struck the deal. The question is, what does this deal cover up? Is it the vast amounts of property of the people and other corruption?
On the subject of corruption, Anusha Samaranayaka, fast bowling coach of Sri Lanka cricket, and Gayan Vishwajit, the net bowler, were suspended by SLC today over allegations of encouraging players to fix matches.
During a recent series against the West Indies, Sri Lanka cricketers Kusal Janit Pereira and Rangan Herat had informed the International Cricket Council that a group of people connected to Sri Lanka cricket had attempted to encourage them to fix matches. This fact was first unveiled by Sports Minister Dayasri Jayasekara at a media briefing held prior to the election of office bearers at Sri Lanka cricket. Following an internal inquiry, SLC decided to suspend net bowler Gayan Vishwajit and fast bowling coach Anusha Samaranayaka. SLC Secretary Mohan De Silva announced that Gayan Vishwajit will no longer be involved in any SLC activities. Meanwhile, the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division has also commenced investigations into these allegations. Sri Lanka team manager Jerry Wouters was called to the FCID today. Police media spokesperson ASP Ruwan Gunasekara noted that the FCID had recorded a statement from Wouters.
The 15-year-old boy and his mother, who were arrested in connection with the accident at the Dematugoda level crossing, which killed a mother and a daughter, have been further remanded.
The duo were further remanded when their bail application was taken up today.
The Magistrates Court, which rejected the motion for bail, issued an order that the chief suspect and his mother be remanded until the 28th and 25th of this month, respectively.
The fatal accident, which claimed the lives of a 47-year-old mother and her 10-year-old daughter, occurred at a pedestrian crossing near a level crossing on the Baseline Road. The mother and daughter who fell victim to this tragedy began crossing the road at this pedestrian crossing at about 8:30 p.m. on the 16th. While they safely crossed 3 lanes on the Baseline Road, they were run down as they approached the 4th lane on which vehicles travelled towards Dematugoda. There are many points to consider here. One is that both ends of the crossing are covered by trees. Another problem is that the light from the street lamps on either side does not light up this location. We can see that the location is somewhat covered and that several accidents have occurred on this pedestrian crossing in the past. Newsfirst monitored the pedestrian crossing for several hours this morning. Area residents claim that they have highlighted the danger of the location of this pedestrian crossing on numerous occasions. They should put up signal lights like the ones near Wesley College so that the vehicles will stop and people can cross safely. There are no accidents near Wesley College, so we request that they do the same for us. There are at least 4 to 5 accidents a month here when pedestrians cross the road. Sometimes it is the fault of the pedestrians and sometimes it is the fault of the drivers. This is deeply saddening. At least 2 or 3 people are run over every week. I have seen with my own eyes a man being thrown away after being hit by a vehicle on the other side of the road. It was like something you would see in the cinema watching a movie. I saw it to my own eyes. Many such accidents occur here and about 40 to 50 people have lost their lives. The Demaragara police too had informed the Road Development Authority on several occasions of the danger at this location. The traffic division of the Demaragara police requested the RDA today as well to place speed bumps at this location. Meanwhile, the remains of the victims were brought to the residence of a relative last night. When Newsfirst went in search of the victim's home, we discovered this shack. The daughter's Sunday school uniform was seen hanging from a clothesline. The husband of W.A. Anula, a mother of 2, also passed away 10 years ago on the 15th of January. The 20-year-old elder daughter who works at an apparel factory had been living at the home of a relative due to the insecure location of the family's home. Her mother and 10-year-old daughter fell victim to this tragedy when they were returning home following a daily visit to the elder sister.
I ask that people do not let children drive vehicles in this way. That road is very dangerous and it is very unsafe to travel there. I ask that the necessary steps be taken to prevent such tragedies from occurring in the future.
The clean-up operation to remove fuel which has contaminated the waters of the Nilwala River continued today. The fuel had leaked from a filling station in Akurasa. The Central Environment Authority says that it will take 3 more days to complete the clean-up operation.
Fuel from the filling station in Akurasa started to leak into the river the day before yesterday. Around 12,000 litres of fuel from the filling station had leaked into the river. Even though rigorous measures had been taken over the past 3 days to remove the oil slick, the water in the Nilwala River is yet to be fuel-free. Officials of the Central Environmental Authority and Disaster Management Centre collected and examined samples of water from several locations of the Nilwala River today as well. Meanwhile, the filling station, which was at the center of contaminating the water with fuel, has been closed since last evening. The remaining fuel at this station was removed with the intervention of Ceylon Petroleum Corporation today. The incident also disrupted the supply of water to several areas surrounding the Mathura town. However, the situation has now been restored. Officials of the Disaster Management Centre nevertheless inspected the water treatment facilities.
The wells are filled up with oil. They are not clearing this. This has hampered our day-to-day activities. We cannot even make a cup of tea.
A special discussion was held at the Akurasa Divisional Secretariat today on the prevailing situation. Officers from the Central Environmental Authority, Coast Conservation Department, Marine Environmental Protection Authority, Security Services and Public Health Inspectors were at the meeting.
Yes, there was a certain degree of harmful effects to the environment. We will assess the situation, and we also intend to take legal action under the provisions of the National Environmental Act. The Central Environmental Authority is planning on spearheading a program together with the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation to avoid a recurrence by fuel stations or any other institution in Sri Lanka in the future.
විශාල වැඩපිළිවෙලක් දියත් කරන්න මේ පරිසර අධිකාරිය වශයෙන් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. අවුරුදු 30-40 පැරණි ටැංකි තියෙන
We have initiated a program to repair fuel tanks at filling stations which are 30 to 40 years old. I have instructed the chairman with the help of a board of officials to compile a report detailing fuel stations which have unrepaired tanks to prevent such an incident from happening again.
කටයුතු කිරීම ආරම්භ කරන්න කියලා.
Have we forgotten?
Several recent incidents bear testament to the fact that the nation's water sources are being contaminated. In 2013, the people of Ratapasala in Gampaha were facing a water crisis as a result of chemical pollutants from a factory contaminating water sources. Demonstrations demanding clean water ended up with several lives being lost. The factory was later removed from the area. On the 24th of April 2014, an oil spill was reported on the Rakwan river after a fuel bowser met with an accident. Waters of the Hatton are rendered unusable on the 19th of September every year as rotten milk from an adjacent estate is released into the river. On the 28th of September, several residents along the banks of the Walaway River were inconvenienced as a result of pollutants released from the Sevanagala sugar factory. It was reported at the beginning of 2015 that oil had mixed with several water sources in Chunnakam and surrounding areas in Jaffna. Water of the Kesselgamoya, a tributary of the Castlereagh Reservoir, contaminated by fossil fuel. Pollution of the Kalani River leads to water supply disruptions in Colombo, Dehiwala, Mount Lavenia, Maharagama, Puralasgamo and surrounding areas.
මේ ප්‍රශ්න මේ විදිහට යට යන්න දෙන්න බෑ මොකද ජනතාව
We cannot allow those problems to be suppressed in any way. The competent authorities must take strict measures to prevent the pollution of the water sources of innocent people. In the granting of permits and licenses, there needs to be constant vigilance to ensure that these entities are adhering to environmental priorities. It is pointless to take steps when a problem arises, because by then the water sources will all have been polluted and we will be seeing dead fish on the surfaces of all reservoirs and rivers. We hope they will awake from their policy of lethargy and take the necessary steps in the future.
අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ඉදිරියටවත් කටයුතු කරයි.
Have we forgotten?
A fundamental rights petition filed at the Supreme Court by 5 students of the private medical college in Malabay was withdrawn today. The petition was taken up before a bench comprising of Justices Chandraika Naika, Eva Vanasundara and Sisira Diabro today.
The petition was filed claiming that the Health Ministry was in contempt of court, having failed to provide clinical training for students at the private medical college in Malabay after agreeing before the Supreme Court to do so. Attorneys representing the students in court today noted that they have decided to withdraw the petition as the Health Ministry has already agreed to provide them with clinical training at the Avisawala and Kaduvela hospitals. The Government Medical Officers Association had also sought the permission of court to be represented in this case as a stakeholder. The bench noted, however, that they could not do so as the petition had been withdrawn. Meanwhile, the Medical Faculty Students Activist Committee staged a silent demonstration opposite the court complex today in protest of the Health Ministry's decision. The Jayawardhanapura Hospital is the main location for clinical training for students at the Jayawardhanapura faculty. So the students at the Jayawardhanapura faculty are being evicted in order to provide trainings for students from Saitham in Malabay. An organization calling themselves the People's Movement for the Protection of Free Health Rights staged demonstration opposite the Avisawala Base Hospital today to protest the providing of clinical training for students of a private medical college at a public hospital. Students of the private medical college met with the General Secretary of the JPP today and requested that the party not oppose them receiving practical training. The only solution to this problem is for the government to take over the private medical college in Malabe. Then these children will have justice and it will not be a problem for free education. This is where we are exerting pressure. The government must intervene immediately to resolve this matter. We have a problem with the fact that the Health Ministry has made a promise that is completely contradictory with its previous promise. The Health Secretary has gone beyond his powers and has misused power to provide a state asset to a private business. We will be going to court against the Health Secretary as a public official and the Health Minister as the decision maker.
ඇමතිවරයාගෙන තියෙන වැරදි තීරණය සම්බන්ධයෙන් සෞඛ්‍ය ඇමතිවරයාට විරුද්ධව අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අධිකරණය හැමෝට යනවා.
Health Minister Rajit Senaratne says he will take steps to implement the decision of the Supreme Court. Issuing a statement, the minister noted that if persons wish to disregard the court's decision and take legal action against himself and the ministry secretary, then he is prepared to face it. He adds that the matter can be settled at the Supreme Court. These children must have the opportunity to receive clinical training at public hospitals. Many people are acting to prevent this, but the court has decided that public hospitals should be open to these students. They are all our children. Some succeed in entering a state education faculty. Some do not get this opportunity. It is not because they lack skill. It is because there are no opportunities. So when these students seek their education privately and receive clinical training at public hospitals, I wish to ask you if it is fair or unfair.
The ceremony to introduce TV1, the brand new channel brought to you by the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, commenced at Stein Studios in Ratmalana today with much pomp and glamour.
This is an opportunity for those who have already achieved in life. This is an opportunity to those who are just entering into the field. And this is an opportunity also for those who would be inspired by your presence today to get into this very exciting field of entertaining, connecting with people.
Over the past 2 decades, we believe that our media has played a significant role in setting standards in the electronic media field and connecting with people, whether it is in news and entertainment, current affairs or political programs or CSR activities. However, we never equal the past to the future. We go beyond what is already mastered. We are now at the threshold of launching a platform which puts you, the custodians of this great industry, at the heart of our plans.
We are ready to embark on a new journey, together with all of you. Up to date, the Sirasa Media Institution had established a separate landmark. We are ready to start anew. This is TV1. We are ready to bring this channel to you in both Sinhala and English. Unlike any other channel, we are gearing up to make this channel where the public and artists can work together and take decisions on its functions. So it will be different to a certain extent. The TV1 team will constantly nag those artists here, and that wouldn't always be to get you onto a program. You can use us as a bridge to express your ideas to the people. We are ready to make room for all of this. Please do not get the wrong idea. This is not a channel just for the youth. This is a channel for all of us.
Joining us with more details is Florin Rajendran.
It is a proud moment for the Capital Maharaja Organisation today as it launches its 8th channel. Now, as you can see right behind me, there are a number of celebrities, media personnel, artists who have come here to witness this grand occasion. Now, this channel will be on air on the 21st of January at 5:04 p.m. Now, reminding you again that this channel will be on air on the 21st of January at 5:04 p.m. and on Dialogue TV it will be number 10 and on Pure TV it will be number 12. And we will bring you all the very latest from the news, entertainment and all the fields, and expect the unexpected. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Florin Rajendran reporting from the Science Studios, Ratmalana.
Convening a media briefing today, the Ministry of Development Strategies and International Trade expressed views on the proposed Indo-Lanka trade agreement.
We are currently in talks over this matter and I do not think there will be any issue on it for us. We must understand that India is a country with a population of 1.25 billion people, and we have exported to the needs of less than 700 million Indians.
We cannot sign agreements which are 100% advantages to us, so this agreement brings advantage to both countries.
We have reiterated that we are discussing just two service agreements. One is ship dealing maritime services, and since we do have that here, the other one is IT services. First, we plan on formulating a framework on this matter by the end of next month, following which we intend on signing the agreement as soon as possible. It may take up to July for this. The medical and legal sectors do not apply.
Global oil prices fell to their lowest level since 2003 today, following the easing of sanctions on Iran. Now, how will this affect Sri Lanka?
Yesterday, economic sanctions imposed on Iran by global powers, including the US and Europe, were lifted following Iran's compliance with a nuclear non-proliferation deal. The lifting of sanctions also releases billions of dollars of frozen Iranian assets. Iran, which is one of the 4 largest oil-producing nations in the world, is preparing to supply 500,000 barrels of oil per day to the global market. Analysts say that while the current excess supply of between 2 to 2.5 million barrels has driven oil prices to record lows, the renewed supply of Iranian oil will cause prices to slide further. Analysts believe that global prices will hover between $25 and $40 per barrel in the near future.
In truth, this is a major comfort and concession for us. You may remember that for some time, several problems arose as a result of changing the type of oil used in our refinery, which is conditioned for Iranian crude. Additionally, in our dealings with Iran, we have received loans and concessions, especially with regard to prices. We hope that these concessions will be reinstated in the future. Iran is also one of the biggest suppliers of tar in the world. As a country which is seeing the construction of expressways and infrastructure development, we have a major advantage in importing from Iran.
And in sports news, it's cricket. Sri Lanka all-rounder Thisara Perera has decided to retire from Test cricket. He's confirmed this when speaking to Sports First this evening.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for the day.
I'm Nadim Majid. Good night and good luck.